Hey y'all, I'm Anna and welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute since I have posted a video. Last week was my 10-year anniversary, so I took about a week and a half off, but I'm here today to bring you another What's for Dinner. This first recipe is of a keto cheeseburger casserole and it was so good. Okay, so I already sauteed up some mushrooms and I set those aside, and I also fried up 4 pieces of bacon, and this is the skillet that I used, so it still has some bacon grease left in there, so that's what I'm going to cook my ground beef and onion in. So I'll turn this on to about medium-high heat. I'll let that get nice and hot. I also have my oven preheating to 350. Okay, that's hot, so now I'll add in the onion and beef. Alright, so the recipe says to use like a tablespoon or so of like burger seasoning, but honestly, I didn't even know that was a thing. I've never bought that before. So since I don't have that, I'm just going to use what Zach always puts in like the burgers that he grills, and that's always paprika, onion powder, and garlic powder, and some salt and pepper. So I'm just gonna eyeball this, add some of this in, and some salt and pepper. And now that I'm thinking about it, I really don't know if Zach puts paprika in the burgers. Actually, I don't think he does, so whoops. But I'm sure it's not gonna be bad. I guess I'm just so used to cooking with it. All right, salt and pepper now. So I'll just let this continue to cook until it's fully cooked through, and then we'll drain all of the fat. I'm ready to drain the fat from the meat, and I just want you to see how greasy that is, and that's because I used a 73% lean, 27% fat beef. So this was really fatty, but if yours didn't render that much, you might as well just leave it in there, but this is just a little too much for me. I'm gonna add that right back in the skillet. I had turned this off, so I need to turn it back on about medium heat. Can you guess what I forgot to add in? My garlic. I'm telling you, I do that every time. So I'm gonna add in a good teaspoon of that. And now I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. And 2 ounces of softened cream cheese. So now I'll just let this cook and stir it around for a couple of minutes until the cream cheese has fully melted. Yeah, nobody gonna love you like I do. Yeah, nobody gonna love you like I do. I'ma love you till the good Lord comes back for me and you. Yeah, nobody gonna love you like I do. In a medium bowl, I'm gonna add 2 eggs, half a cup of heavy cream. The cheese that I'm using today is a mixture of sharp cheddar and Colby Jack. I'm gonna do about a cup of this, and the recipe calls for, I think, a cup of sharp cheddar and then a cup of white cheddar, but I didn't have that, so I'm just using what I have. And I'll stir this together. And now I'll add about a tablespoon of mustard. I'm gonna be using a 2-quart baking dish. This is a 7 by 11 one. It's not the 9 by 13. But the recipe says that you could do a 9 by 9 or an 8 by 11, but this is just the best one that I had. So I just sprayed that with some nonstick cooking spray. And now I'm gonna add in the ground beef mixture. And now the egg mixture. I almost forgot my mushrooms. I would have been so upset if I forgot those. I love mushrooms, but feel free to omit this. I don't even think the recipe calls for it, but I just love mushrooms on my burger. The recipe also calls for a pickle that's been chopped up, and I personally would love that, and so would my mom and everybody else, but my dad just cannot stand pickles, so I am going to leave that out, but we'll probably eat like a pickle on the side with this. I have 4 slices of crispy bacon. I'm just going to crumble those up and scatter them on top. And now I'm going to cover the top with another cup of cheese. And now this is ready for the oven. It's going to bake at 350 for about 15 to 17 minutes. Okay, we all really enjoyed that casserole. I ate mine with some french fries, so you know I don't do keto, but Zach just had the casserole and he really enjoyed it. So let's get started with recipe number 2. This next recipe is called Melt in Your Mouth Chicken, and I really don't know where I got this recipe from. It was really good. The one thing I would change about it is maybe use like half the amount of Parmesan cheese. It was just almost a little bit too salty, but we all really enjoyed it, so let's get started. Now I'm adding in 2 teaspoons of garlic powder and 1 teaspoon of seasoned salt. I'll also add in about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now I'm gonna add in 1 cup of freshly grated Parmesan, and I'm gonna need another 1/2 cup of Parmesan for the top. I'm actually going to set this aside. I forgot to take my chicken and pound it really well because it's really thick, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, so all I'm doing now is spreading over the sour cream mixture on top of the chicken, and I wanted to tell you also, I cannot remember for the life of me where I got this recipe from. I've never made it before, but I typed it up and kept it on my computer for like a few months, and I just can't remember where I got it. But the recipe says to use 3 pounds of chicken breast. This is not 3 pounds of chicken breast. This is only like 1.5 pounds. So this is probably just gonna be like extra creamy, but I'm okay with that. My kids are being loud. They're going in and out, so sorry if you hear all that. Also, since I'm only using 1.5 pounds of chicken, I really could have used a smaller dish, but this will be fine. So the last step before it goes in the oven is to put some more freshly grated Parmesan on top. The recipe says to use 1/2 cup, but I'm just gonna eyeball it. I'm just gonna cover it really well, and then we will pop it in the oven. I've got it preheated at 375, and this is gonna bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. And I think the last 4 or 5 minutes, I'll put it on broil just to kind of make the top of it brown up a little bit. Okay, do you want to see something super random but cute and funny at the same time? Okay, this is like a little slip thing. I guess you like put it under your dress, but you can put your legs through it. This was my Nana's, and Katie Jane found this in the back bedroom at Nana's house like a couple of months ago, and she just loves it. She uses it like a little hold on kind of. And so what she does is she gives me this, and then she takes her Barbie and she wants me to wrap her up. So I fold it in half like this. I can't believe I'm showing all this, but it's so funny. And then I put her at the end. Are you excited? She's excited. And I'm wrapping it up kind of like a burrito. Shh. And there she's swaddled. Come over here. Come over here and hold your baby. Can you rock her? Come over here and rock the baby. Oh, that's so sweet. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now as the chicken bakes, which by the way, it's got about 15 more minutes. And I'm gonna show you now how I like to make my green beans. Now, first I wanna say that I use canned green beans, and my favorite is the French style, but use whatever kind you have. I put them in a small saucepan, and with that I add a big scoop of bacon grease. Every time I cook bacon, I save the grease and I just put it like in a coffee cup and I leave it in the fridge, and it solidifies, and I get a big spoonful of that and I throw it in there. And I also need to still add some salt and pepper to it. Just a little bit of salt and pepper. And I just feel like this really makes the beans so flavorful. When I go to a restaurant to get green beans, they don't have much taste to them. Like, they're real bland. But this bacon fat, let me just say, it is so good with it. It gives it so much flavor. And I drained about half of the water out of the can and left some in here. And I'm cooking it on, let's see, it's on the 4. I probably want to bump it up to maybe 6. Just to get it going, and then once that melts and bubbles a little bit, it'll be ready to eat. Okay, let's get started with the last recipe. This was my favorite of the week. I've made it several times before, and Zach and I really like it. My kids didn't eat it because the sauce is a little bit spicy, but it's called Huevos Rancheros. I probably am not saying that right, but it is really good, so I can't wait to show you how I do it. Okay, so that does it for today. All of these recipes were incredibly delicious and easy. I will have all 3 recipes linked below for you. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you soon. Bye.